Hello everybody and welcome to Civ House. I'm Rob and today we're going to be going over the best civilizations for Ibn Battuta in Civ 7. And honestly, he is one of the most unique leaders in Civ 7. He has a unique trait in Wildcard and is truly a leader who can flex into just about any playstyle. That being said, there are some paths that might be a bit better than others. So let's just jump into it here, and we're going to start in Antiquity. We're going to be picking the Carthaginians, and yes, some of you may be wondering why. They're the one city civ. This kind of plays into the way that you want to, as they are good for economic and militaristic, which we believe here is kind of the best Ibn Battuta playstyles. Again, he's flexible. You could really go any way you want to because of those, especially those attribute points at the beginning, but you're going to want to use them in these certain ways, right? It depends on the mementos that you're going to take, and you can either lean into economic or you can lean into the militaristic leader trees, or there's a third option where you go down science to help keep up with everybody else, as you're going to be behind and you're going to want to kind of get your way to Numidian cavalry as quickly as possible without sacrificing some of the other spots on that tree. What you're going to be doing as well with him is you're going to be using increased sight and trade maps to help you get the trading going. We're going to pretend that you've gone down the economic legacy path here. We do believe it's the best one. I'll explain why for each one of these civs as we go through it as well. This is going to allow you to focus on getting as many resources as you can, obviously, and then you're going to want to still use that military aspect, which is why you can kind of lean into it a little bit, right? And keep yourself either protected or on the offensive with the stacking of the Numidian cavalry. Along with this, the Sicilian Wars are going to allow you to get massive expansion. You get that +2 settlement, which is incredible. And this is going to fit into that expansionist playstyle for Ibn as well. The only negative about going with Carthage is that his starting bias is on flatlands, not so much the coastal areas. So you may have to restart, you may have to reseed a few times, as it's going to be a little bit tougher if you do not get on a coastline right away, because again, while you can move obviously your capital in different ages, you can't at the beginning. So you're going to need to make sure that you've got it in a pretty good spot, and it needs to be as close to a coastline as possible to get kind of the top and best available play styles here for Carthage. Along with that as well, this is going to fit for the Punic port that you need, the coffin, the dockyard combination as well, being into that Punic port. But this is going to set you up very well for the exploration age. But before we head into that, I'm going to ask you guys like and subscribe. Like if you find this video to be helpful, or if you like this kind of content, and subscribe so you don't miss out on all the great Civilization 7 content we have coming out here at Civ House. Also, let me know in the comments section below which Antiquity Civ you like to start with even the most. Here we go into Exploration Age though, and we've got Spain. It's a very natural progression, so it shouldn't really be much of a thought here, to be honest with you, as Carthage just flows well into Spain. And at this point, you should have committed to a leader attribute tree. Again, in this scenario, we're going with the economic tree, and you can use your points towards getting the +2 gold on resources in towns in distant lands. You also get +1 for the ones that you obviously have, on your home continent, but this is a really nice kind of addition to the game for you, and one that's going to allow you to continue to stack gold and be able to use that in a multitude of different ways. Now, do you remember all of those towns that you had in Antiquity? The special ability from Spain is going to help you to convert them very quickly on your home continent as well, right? You didn't have the ability to do so as Carthage. Now you can use that gold, and you're getting, honestly, a decreased amount, right? You're getting a discount on these with the ability from going from Carthage to Spain. You're not having to spend that money in Antiquity. You get to do it in the Exploration Age. And as well, you are spreading to the New World, so it's the best time for you to find possible spots to settle, because as soon as you meet somebody, you should be using the trade map ability and seeing where the best spots are for you to set up, and not only kind of carve out your corner there, or your, I guess, middle of the road area, as you'll see when we head into our modern age civ, but you know, this is going to allow you to really set yourself up well for treasure fleets. As you're doing this, you're going to be solidifying your empire both at home and overseas, right? And you're going to be starting to roll your conquistadors and trying to get a couple of them. We have a few different suggestions, but there are 3 that we really like. Again, you could kind of realistically use all of them. They are relatively useful, but Christopher Columbus works really well with trade maps specifically, as he's going to give you kind of this outline of everything in the world except for kind of the interior, right, of the distant lands. That's where your trade maps come in, and it allows you, as soon as you have met somebody, you start spamming those trade maps, and it will allow you to see what's going on inside of the continent as well. DeSoto is going to work as well if you have a pesky city-state that's maybe in a spot that you would really like, and you don't want to take the time or use the influence to try to kind of convert that city. You can just use DeSoto right away, plop them in there in that distant land, and become the suzerain right away. And then you can start spending that influence instead to convert it to one of your settlements if you would like to. The last one is Ponce de Leon. I think this is probably one of the best conquistadors that you can get with Spain, and it's just going to allow you to get your treasure fleets moving, you know, more quickly. It's going to allow you to get that system working better. Again, we're going down that economic legacy path. You're focusing on your treasure fleets. This is the best way to do so. Ibn just really fits well with economics. It's the trade maps, I think, are kind of a dead giveaway for that. You're also getting, obviously, that site and everything else. I think it's +1 site to all of your units, so that can be very helpful as well. But, you know, it's just like I like to say with Ibn, you know, you're getting the fog of war out of the way. In every single game, having sight is so important. Knowing what's going on allows you to make better and more well-informed decisions. Ibn fits so well with Spain, especially if you can get Christopher Columbus early on. It just works so perfectly, and then it sets you up here for the modern Civ, which we're going to go with America. Now, do you remember how I talked about maybe having that middle empire instead of, you know, one that's maybe on the periphery? Well, this is why, because you're gonna need to have 3 settlements on the plains or grasslands, as Spain does not naturally go over to America, and neither does Ibn. So you're going to need to make sure that you focus on doing that, whether you're taking over somebody else's civ. You know, you can use, obviously, the special units from Spain to do this, or if you're just going to naturally settle there, there is a conquistador as well that I believe creates a settlement. So that's pretty good as well. These are things that you're going to want to be making sure that you do so that you can get to America. It shouldn't be terribly difficult. It really should not. Either you're going to war or you're settling them yourself. Either way, you should be able to get at least 3 settlements. And with the way that you're playing Spain already, right, and being able to see the whole map likely before everybody else, you should be able to get to America pretty easily. Again, you're going down the economic tree path, so you're going to probably want to finish it most likely with the +5 total gold there that you can get at the end. After that, you can really put these attribute points kind of anywhere depending on how your other ages have finished and what you've been able to do, you know, whether it's been a golden or a dark age. But we do suggest that you should look at the science tree specifically, as you're going to want that +15% production towards constructing buildings if you don't already have it, so that you can start getting your railroads and everything and your factories and whatnot set up better. At this point, you're picking America because it's going to help you economically, and it's going to help you with production in a very serious way. And you're going to want to start sprinting towards the end, and you're going to want to focus on making sure that you get through the tech tree with military science, industrialization, and mass production. With America, all of those resources that you have built up, right, since the dawn of time, essentially, right, you're going to need to use them, as they're going to help you immensely, especially with the robber baron tradition. You're going to need to use your trade maps as well, maybe to just kind of get an eye on what everybody else has been doing. But for the most part, you'll have a pretty good idea of where everybody's at and what is going on. But you can still use them. It's not a bad thing to have, right? At this point, you're going to be focusing on keeping your empire safe with a strong military. You're going to be using prospectors to get those extra resources that you need, and you're going to want to make sure that your rail lines are set up and that your factories are pumping everything out as you have those resources adding to all of these cities that you have established, you know, with Carthage, with the towns initially, with Spain, allowing you to, you know, create these towns into these cities. And now as America, you're really just kind of pumping your way towards the end goal here with the economic legacy path. So I hope that helps you guys out. This is the way that I would be playing Ibn. These are the best civs that I would be taking to especially get that economic legacy path. If you'd like for me to maybe kind of change it up and do Ibn in a different way, or if there are leaders that you would like for us to see or to do next, let us know in the comments below. But that is going to wrap it up for us on this one. So from our house to yours, thanks for watching, and I hope you'll join us for one more turn.